we can say this observer, who was brought into existence by the universe, has, by his acts of observation, a part in bringing that universe itself into being.
Imagine if the reality you perceive, the world you experience every day, isn't a solid, independent entity, but a reflection of your own consciousness, a cosmic mirror reflecting your innermost being. What if your every thought, every breath, rippled out to shape the universe itself? What if your consciousness was the spark that turned potential into reality, and what we perceive as life is actually a state of death, a limited perception of a much grander existence? This might sound paradoxical, but it's the heart of a profound shift in perspective offered by John Wheeler's participatory anthropic principle. This mind-bending concept challenges the very foundation of how you understand the world and your place within it. It asks you to step outside the familiar framework of objective reality and embrace a universe that is not merely observed, but co-created by your very existence. A universe where the lines between life and death blur, and the true nature of consciousness is revealed. Wheeler, a pioneer in the world of physics, didn't believe the universe simply exists on its own. He saw it as a dynamic dance between observer and observed, a cosmic interplay where consciousness is not a passive bystander, but an active participant. He argued that at the smallest levels of reality, particles exist in a state of probabilities, a blur of potential outcomes. But when observed, these probabilities collapse into a single definitive state. His insight was that what happens at the quantum level doesn't stay confined there. The same principle governs the universe itself. This means your role isn't passive. Reality isn't a pre-written book you're reading. It's a story that only unfolds as you participate. You are not merely a character in this grand cosmic narrative. You are a co-author, shaping the plot with every thought, every decision, every observation. Wheeler famously said, "We are participants in bringing the universe into being." Let that sink in for a moment. The stars, the galaxies, the very fabric of space and time, they depend on your observations to exist in their current form. Without your consciousness, the universe would be an unmanifested sea of possibilities, waiting for you to look, to experience, to bring it into being. But what if this bringing into being is actually a limitation, a filtering of a much vaster reality? What if our perception of a solid linear world is a kind of death? A confinement to a limited range of experience within a boundless, interconnected consciousness. This concept, deeply intertwined with quantum mechanics, challenges your perception of time. What if time isn't a linear progression, but a fluid dimension shaped by your consciousness? What if your observations can influence not only the present and future, but also the past? This is the mind-bending concept of retrocausality, where your present actions can ripple backward, shaping the very foundation of your existence. Imagine watching a movie frame by frame, where the sequence seems fixed. But what if you could interact with the film, changing the outcome of earlier frames based on choices made later? This, in essence, is what Wheeler proposed. He believed your participation in reality doesn't just affect what lies ahead, it reaches backward, shaping the very tapestry of your life. This isn't just abstract theory. Experiments in quantum mechanics, like Wheeler's own delayed choice experiment, have demonstrated this principle. In this experiment, a particle's behavior is determined by the act of observation, even if the observation occurs after the particle's journey has begun. In other words, the particle's past isn't fixed until it's observed in the present. If this happens at the smallest scale, what does it mean for the larger world you inhabit? What does it mean for your own life story? Could it be that our perception of a fixed past is an illusion, a construct of our limited consciousness in this dead state? These ideas resonate with ancient wisdom traditions like Hermetic philosophy, which have long taught the illusory nature of time and the interconnectedness of consciousness and reality. The Hermetic principle, as above so below, encapsulates this connection, suggesting that the universe mirrors the structure of your own consciousness. It's no coincidence that these ideas resonate with the Hermetic principles laid out in the Kybalion. The principle of mentalism states that the all is mind, suggesting everything you perceive is a projection of a universal consciousness, a consciousness of which you are an integral part, but from which you may feel separated in this state of death. If reality is participatory, then what we call death may not be an end, but a transformation of consciousness, a shift in how you interact with the universe, perhaps even a reawakening to the true nature of your being. This perspective aligns with mystical teachings that describe death not as a cessation, but as a doorway, a transformation into a different state of being, a return to the source from which we came. Could it be that you're already part of something far larger and far stranger than life and death as you know it? Could your life be less about a beginning and an end, and more about an eternal loop of observation and participation? A continuous dance of consciousness that transcends the limitations of our perceived reality? The implications of Wheeler's principle are profound. If your observations shape reality, then you have a responsibility to participate consciously. Every moment becomes an opportunity to co-create a reality that reflects the harmony and intelligence of the universe. This isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's an invitation to awaken from the death of limited perception and take a more active role in shaping the world around you. Every thought, every decision, every observation matters. You're not just a spectator in the grand theater of existence, you're a co-creator. But what does this co-creation look like? How do you become a conscious participant in this grand cosmic dance? How do you awaken from this death and embrace the fullness of your being? Wheeler's participatory anthropic principle invites us to reconsider the very nature of consciousness. Is it merely a byproduct of the brain? A fleeting phenomenon that arises with the complex interplay of neurons and synapses? Or is it something more fundamental, a primary force that underpins the very fabric of reality, something that exists beyond the limitations of our physical death? Many philosophical and spiritual traditions have long asserted that consciousness is not an emergent property of matter, but rather a fundamental aspect of existence. Idealism, for example, proposes that reality is essentially mental, a construct of mind or consciousness. This perspective, championed by philosophers like Plato and Bishop Berkeley, suggests that the world we perceive is not independent of our minds, but rather a projection of them. Our minds, then, are not passive observers of a pre-existing world, but active participants in its creation. Panpsychism, another philosophical perspective, suggests that consciousness is a universal property, present in all things, from rocks and rivers to stars and galaxies. This view, espoused by thinkers like Gottfried Wilhelm Leibniz and Alfred North Whitehead, challenges the traditional division between mind and matter, suggesting that even seemingly inanimate objects possess a degree of sentience or awareness. In a panpsychist universe, consciousness is not limited to humans or animals, but is woven into the very fabric of existence, making the universe itself a conscious entity. And in Advaita Vedanta, a non-dualistic school of Hindu philosophy, consciousness is seen as the ultimate reality, the ground of all being. This tradition, with roots in ancient Vedic texts, asserts that the true nature of reality is not the multiplicity of objects and phenomena we perceive, but a single, unified consciousness, often referred to as Brahman. From this perspective, our individual consciousness is not separate from this universal consciousness, but rather a localized expression of it, like a wave arising from the ocean. This view challenges our sense of separateness and invites us to experience the interconnectedness of all things. Wheeler himself seemed to lean towards this view, suggesting that information, not matter, is the fundamental building block of the universe. He coined the term "it from bit" to express this idea, suggesting that every it, every particle, every field, every phenomenon derives its existence from bits, which are units of information. This implies that the universe is not a collection of things, but a network of relationships, a web of information shaped by the act of observation and participation. If consciousness is indeed fundamental, then the universe is not a cold, indifferent void, but a living, breathing entity imbued with awareness. Our individual consciousness, then, is not separate from this universal consciousness, but rather a localized expression of it, like a wave arising from the ocean. This perspective has profound implications for how we understand our place in the cosmos and our relationship to all things. Furthermore, this perspective suggests that consciousness is not static, but evolving. Just as the universe is constantly changing and transforming, so too is consciousness. And our participation in the universe, through our thoughts, actions, and observations, contributes to this evolution. Spiritual practices like meditation and mindfulness can be seen as ways to accelerate this evolution, leading to greater awareness, compassion, and wisdom, and perhaps even a transcendence of this dead state of limited perception. If we are truly co-creators of reality, as Wheeler suggests, then we have a profound responsibility to participate consciously and ethically. Our thoughts, words, and actions are not just personal expressions. They are creative acts that ripple out into the universe, shaping the reality we all experience. This raises important ethical questions. What kind of reality do we want to create? Are we contributing to a world of harmony, peace, and justice, or are we perpetuating cycles of suffering and conflict? How can we use our consciousness to co-create a world that reflects our highest values and aspirations? The concept of conscious creation has gained popularity in recent years, drawing on the idea that our thoughts and intentions can manifest in our physical reality. While this concept has its roots in ancient spiritual traditions, it aligns with Wheeler's participatory universe, where consciousness is an active force in shaping reality. By cultivating awareness of our thoughts and intentions, and by aligning them with our deepest values, we can become conscious co-creators of our lives and the world around us. This involves taking responsibility for our choices, recognizing that every action, every word, every thought has an impact on the universe. It also involves cultivating compassion and empathy, recognizing that we are all interconnected and that our actions affect not only ourselves, but also others. By acting with kindness, generosity, and understanding, we can contribute to a more harmonious and just world. This ethical dimension of participation extends beyond our individual lives to encompass our collective responsibility for the planet and all its inhabitants. If our collective consciousness shapes reality, then we have the power to create a world that is sustainable, equitable, and just. This requires a shift in consciousness from a mindset of separation and competition to one of interconnectedness and cooperation. A shift that may be necessary to move beyond this dead state of limited awareness. Wheeler's concept of retrocausality challenges our conventional understanding of time as a linear progression from past to present to future. But what if time is not a rigid construct, but a fluid dimension that can be influenced by consciousness? What if our perception of time as a linear progression is just another aspect of our dead state? A limitation that prevents us from experiencing the fullness of reality. Ancient wisdom traditions offer various perspectives on time that resonate with this idea. In Hinduism and Buddhism, for example, time is often seen as cyclical, with cycles of creation, destruction, and rebirth. This suggests that the past, present, and future are not separate and distinct, but interconnected and interwoven. Imagine a wheel turning, with each point on the wheel representing a moment in time. As the wheel turns, each point passes through the past, present, and future, suggesting that all moments in time are interconnected and influence each other. Mystical traditions often speak of the eternal now, a timeless realm where past, present, and future merge into a single point of awareness. This perspective suggests that time is not a linear progression, but a dimension of consciousness that we can access through deep meditation and spiritual practice. Imagine a still pond reflecting the moon. The reflection appears to be separate from the moon, yet it is inseparable from it. Similarly, our experience of time may appear separate from the eternal now, yet it is ultimately an expression of it. By exploring these different perspectives on time, we can expand our understanding of reality and our place within it. We can begin to see time not as a constraint, but as a creative opportunity, a dimension in which we can participate consciously and shape our experience. If time is fluid and influenced by consciousness, then we have the power to shape not only our future, but also our present and past. This opens up a world of possibilities for healing, transformation, and growth, and perhaps even for transcending the limitations of our dead state. The idea that reality is shaped by consciousness isn't confined to the realm of modern physics. It echoes through the myths and stories of cultures around the world, whispering ancient wisdom about the interconnected nature of all things and the power of human perception to shape the world. Let's delve deeper into some of these traditions. Many Native American cultures don't see a separation between the observer and the observed. They believe everything is alive and interconnected, from the whispering wind to the towering mountains. Humans are not just observers of nature, but active participants in its unfolding. This resonates deeply with Wheeler's participatory universe, where consciousness is woven into the fabric of reality. Consider the Lakota concept of Wakantanka, the great mystery, the unifying force that connects all things. This concept speaks to a sacredness that permeates all of creation, a living energy that flows through every being and object. It suggests that the universe is not a collection of separate and inert objects, but a unified and interconnected whole, a living organism in which we all participate. The Lakota people believe that by aligning themselves with Wakantanka through prayer, ceremony, and right action, they can influence the world around them and co-create a reality that is in harmony with the natural order. Or delve into the Hopi belief that thoughts and prayers can influence the weather and the harvest. The Hopi people have a deep understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, and they believe that their thoughts and actions have a direct impact on the world around them. Through ceremonies and rituals, they seek to maintain balance and harmony in the universe, recognizing that their participation is essential to the well-being of the whole. These traditions remind us that we are not separate from the world around us, but an integral part of a living, breathing universe that responds to our intentions. Hindu cosmology offers a rich tapestry of ideas that resonate with Wheeler's participatory universe. The concept of Maya, often translated as illusion, suggests that the world we perceive with our senses is not the ultimate reality. It is a veil that obscures the true nature of existence, which is Brahman, the ultimate reality, the infinite consciousness that pervades all things. This echoes Wheeler's idea that the universe we observe is not a fixed and independent entity, but a manifestation of consciousness. Think of the world as a dream, a grand illusion projected by the cosmic dreamer, Brahman. Just as a dream appears real while we are in it, the world we experience seems solid and independent. But upon awakening, we realize that the dream was a creation of our own mind. Similarly, Hindu philosophy suggests that the world we perceive is a projection of Brahman, the ultimate reality, the cosmic consciousness that dreams us all into being. Could it be that our current state, what we call life, is a kind of dream, a state of limited awareness within a much vaster reality? Furthermore, the Hindu concept of karma, the law of cause and effect, suggests that our actions have consequences that ripple through the universe, shaping not only our own destiny, but also the destiny of the world around us. This aligns with the idea that we are active participants in the creation of reality, our choices and intentions influencing the unfolding of events. Every action, every thought, creates a ripple in the cosmic pond, shaping the reality we experience. This understanding of karma encourages us to act with awareness and responsibility, recognizing that our choices have far-reaching consequences. The Aboriginal Australian concept of dream time, often described as the time of creation, is a realm where the past, present, and future exist simultaneously. It is a realm of consciousness that transcends the limitations of linear time, where the ancestors walked the earth and shaped the landscape with their thoughts and actions. This concept resonates with Wheeler's idea of retrocausality, where the past, present, and future are interconnected and influenced by consciousness. The stories of the Dreamtime tell of ancestral beings who sang the world into existence, their songs shaping the land, the animals, and the very fabric of reality. These ancestral beings are not separate from the world they created. They are an integral part of it, their consciousness woven into the very fabric of existence. This highlights the power of consciousness to shape the world, a concept that lies at the heart of Wheeler's participatory universe. Imagine a time before time, a realm where consciousness reigned supreme, and the world was still a canvas of possibilities. In this dream time, the ancestors walked the earth, their thoughts and actions shaping the landscape, creating the mountains, rivers, and deserts we see today. Their songs echoed through the universe, giving birth to the animals, the plants, and the very stars in the sky. This is the power of consciousness to shape reality, a power that we all possess, even if we are not always aware of it. Could it be that this dream time is the true reality, and our current state of life is a temporary forgetting of our true nature? These cultural and mythological perspectives, along with countless others from around the world, offer a glimpse into a reality that transcends the limitations of our ordinary perception. They speak of a universe that is not separate from us, but an extension of our own being, a reflection of our consciousness. They invite us to shed the illusion of separateness and embrace the interconnectedness of all things, to awaken from the death of limited perception and embrace the fullness of our being. The evidence for this participatory nature is not just found in ancient myths and traditions. It's also supported by modern scientific discoveries, particularly in the realm of quantum mechanics. The double-slit experiment, one of the most famous experiments in quantum physics, demonstrates the observer's role in shaping reality. In this experiment, particles of light, or photons, are shot through two slits toward a screen. When unobserved, the particles behave like waves, creating an interference pattern on the screen. But when a measuring device is introduced to observe which slit the particles pass through, they behave like particles, and the interference pattern disappears. This means that the act of observation fundamentally changes how reality manifests. Without an observer, particles exist in a state of potential, as waves of probabilities. It's as if reality itself waits to see what you're looking for before it decides what to become. Wheeler extended this principle, suggesting that the entire universe behaves this way, not just particles, but the very fabric of space and time. This may sound abstract, but consider how this principle manifests in your daily life. Have you ever noticed how your perception of something changes the moment you focus on it? A conversation that seemed innocuous suddenly becomes meaningful when you actively listen. A garden you pass by every day becomes a source of beauty and wonder when you stop and truly observe its colors and textures. These moments aren't just about attention, they're about creation. The world you see isn't fixed. It responds to how you observe it. The concept of biocentrism, which suggests that life and consciousness are fundamental to the universe, also supports the idea of a participatory universe. Plants, for example, have been shown to respond to human attention, growing faster or changing their behavior based on how they are treated. While this might sound mystical, it aligns with the idea that reality is shaped by participation. In your own perception, the participatory nature of reality is also apparent. The way you see colors, hear sounds, or interpret events isn't fixed. It depends on your consciousness. Two people can experience the same moment and perceive it entirely differently, shaping their individual realities. This doesn't mean reality is subjective in the sense of being imaginary. Rather, it means that your consciousness plays an active role in defining what is real for you. Perhaps this individual reality, shaped by our limited perception, is part of what constitutes this dead state. The participatory nature of reality is not just a theoretical concept. It's something you can experience directly in your own life. Many spiritual practices and experiences offer glimpses into this co-creative dance between consciousness and the universe, allowing you to explore the boundaries of perception and tap into the deeper currents of reality. This exploration, in a sense, is a journey beyond the limitations of our dead state, a reawakening to the true nature of our being. When you sit in stillness, quieting the chatter of your mind, you open yourself to a deeper awareness of the present moment. In this space of stillness, you may experience a sense of interconnectedness with all things, a feeling of oneness with the universe. This is a direct experience of the participatory nature of reality, where your consciousness merges with the universal consciousness and the boundaries between you and the world dissolve. Have you ever felt that deep sense of peace during meditation? That feeling of coming home to yourself, to something larger than yourself? This is the participatory universe, whispering its secrets to you, inviting you to step beyond the illusion of separation and embrace the unity of all things. When you pray, you are not simply sending out a wish list to a distant deity. You are actively participating in the creation of your reality. Your prayers are not just words. They are vibrations of energy that ripple out into the universe, shaping the fabric of existence. When you pray with focused intention and heartfelt emotion, you are aligning your consciousness with the creative power of the universe, bringing your desires into manifestation. Perhaps you've experienced the power of prayer firsthand, witnessing seemingly impossible situations shift and transform in response to your heartfelt pleas. This is the participatory universe, responding to your call, co-creating with you a reality that aligns with your deepest intentions. Have you ever experienced a series of seemingly coincidental events that seem to align perfectly with your thoughts or intentions? These synchronicities are often seen as signs from the universe, guiding you along your path. In a participatory universe, synchronicities can be seen as a manifestation of your co-creative power, a reflection of your consciousness shaping the events of your life. Maybe you've had those moments where you think of someone, and then they call you out of the blue, or you stumble upon the exact information you need at the precise moment you need it. These synchronicities are not mere coincidences. They are glimpses into the interconnected web of reality, where your consciousness plays an active role in shaping the events of your life. When you are fully immersed in an activity, losing track of time and feeling a sense of effortless creativity, you are experiencing what is known as a flow state. In this state, you are in complete harmony with the present moment, your actions flowing effortlessly from your intentions. This is a powerful example of the participatory nature of reality, where your consciousness is actively shaping your experience, creating a reality that aligns with your deepest desires. Remember those times when you were so engrossed in a project, a sport, or a creative pursuit that time seemed to melt away, and you felt a sense of effortless mastery? That's the flow state, a state of pure participation, where you are co-creating with the universe in a dance of effortless creation. The idea that you are a co-creator in a living universe is both humbling and empowering. It reminds you that you are part of something far greater than yourself, yet it also places incredible power in your hands. Every thought, every action, every way you choose to observe and interact with the world matters. You are not a passive inhabitant of a pre-existing reality. You are a participant in its unfolding. By embracing this role, you can awaken from the death of limited perception and step into the fullness of your being. So what kind of reality do you want to create? What intentions will you set? How will you use your consciousness to contribute to the evolution of the universe? These questions are not just philosophical. They are deeply personal and transformative. They invite you to live with purpose, to act with intention, and to embrace your role as a co-creator. The evidence is everywhere. In the quantum experiments that reveal the power of observation, in the ancient teachings that describe the interconnectedness of all things, and in the small, everyday moments where your thoughts and actions shape the world around you. The universe is alive, and you are an integral part of it. The question is, will you participate consciously? Will you awaken from the death of limited perception and embrace the fullness of your being, the infinite potential that lies within you?